Hello viewers and welcome back to the channel for a new video on GT Sport. For this one we are still in the FIA's manufacturer series and we are going to be at Croix for the round 12 of the championship. And I was very surprised with the practice I had during the week, setting some lap times on this track. How good the Jag was on this track. It's not the OP cars, one of the OP cars, but still, it's getting better since we lost BOP. It's not quite the same as it was before with the top end speed, but in corners it's getting much better on tire wear too and on fuel also. So for this one, the strat is quite easy. You will have to stop at least once to wear the oddest compounds, as the odd compounds are a must for this race. For the fuel, you won't have to bother yourself with fuel saving or things like that. You have like 2 or 3 laps more in the tank for this race. And for the quali, usually I prefer to be on my own on the track. I just get rid of everyone and just, if I need to back out on my club to be on my own, I do so. But for this one, I prefer to get in, even if it's 10 minutes quali now, and try to get some slipstream if possible. So as you did see at the beginning of the quali, I did hit a guy in the Ferrari. I wasn't on the right line and he decided to back out from the racing line, and unfortunately I did follow him, so I did lose a little bit of time on this one. But as I'm catching back on the Portuguese in front in the Porsche, who's not very fast on the straight line compared to the Jag, I'm able to get into his slipstream and to grab a little bit of temp also to improve my quali time. But on this one, I felt that I was faster, so I wanted to stay on the racing line, but he did close the gap. So for him, it seems that the race has already started, and starting to fight each other in the quali is not the best thing to do. So I did back out on this one and tried another opportunity on the next lap, which I thought would have improved my lap, but unfortunately coming out of the last corner, the guy in the GTR, the Nissan GTR, did hit the wall, slow down, and they were going to fight a lot between the guy in the GTR and the Porsche. So I wasn't able to improve my lap time, but in that I was able to get the pole position. I think I had more, I could have improved my lap time a bit more. So objective of the first lap is not to bin it, because usually when I start on pole position, I always bin it on the first lap and have to catch back on the others. But you will also see during this race that there are some points I need to improve a lot on, because as I'm usually behind someone and I just focus on catching back on those in front of me. For this one, I'm starting pole and I have nobody in front of me, and that's something new. Racing without anybody in front of me, that's something very new to me. I mean, mostly on FIAs I do. It does happen sometimes when I race myself doing the weeklies, but on the FIA it's a bit different, and mostly on this one, as it's a sort of sprint race, because you don't have to fuel safe, you know that you will have to pit at least once. And for this one, I did start on medium tires, and I'm going to pit on lap 7, at the end of lap 7, to put the hard compounds. As I said earlier, the hard compounds are a must for this race. So as you can see, first lap I'm trying to push as much as I can to create a gap with P2. To be honest, I was very surprised and skeptic about how easy, sort of, I was able to create the gap with P2. And I was even thinking at the point that maybe he was on hard compounds, but it seems that he wasn't. I did watch the replays, and he did some mistakes, as I did too on this race. And yeah, it seems that I was the best one on this race. But as I said earlier, also you will see that in this race I had some moments where I could have avoided and just make sure to keep the gap with the guy in the McLaren in P2. So now skipping to lap 3, as you can see, we now have a gap of 4 seconds with P2, and I'm just going to show you some of my silly mistakes I made during this race that could have cost me a lot. So as I said earlier in this video, I need to improve on some stuff, and this is one thing. Instead of just focusing on my braking points and everything, I tried to push a bit more, and I went off track, so got a half-second penalty for the shortcut on this one. So just imagine that it was a close race, and I'm doing mistakes like that. Could cost me a lot. It could cost me a lot of time. Now skipping to the end of lap 4, another mistake that I made coming out of the corner. As you all know, the penalty system can be very random sometimes, and on this one I didn't get any penalty, but I could have got damage or even spin the car. So coming out of this corner, I did hit the wall. Luckily for me, the guy in P2 did the same mistake, but I did lose much more time compared to him on this one. So moving now on lap 7, and another mistake right here, not hitting my braking point right, not hitting the apex. I go a little bit wide, and I need to slow down a little bit more coming out of the corner instead of just going back onto the throttle. So I did lose like nearly 7/10 on the Swedish behind. So that shows you that I really need to work on that, because on some racing, on some close racing, mistakes like that can cost you a lot of positions, because now I'm moving a bit more on my deal, so I will be facing much more faster drivers now. I can't allow myself to make these mistakes if I want to get good results. So also, as it is lap 7, remember that we are going to pit at the end of this one for the hard compounds. So now skipping to the pit stop, remember that we do know that the Swedish is in the medium, so we'll have to put the hard compounds, but we don't know for the rest of the pack because they're quite far from me, and they might be on the hard compounds, but it seems that everyone was on the mediums. And yeah, it seems that I was quite good on this race, despite the silly mistakes that I made on some points, but yeah, quite good. Started in pole, still leading on the last lap. A bit tricky last lap because cold hard compounds are not the best combo for a last lap, to be honest. But as there is quite a gap between myself and the Swedish in P2, I just manage myself to keep it cool, even if I do lose some time on this lap. It doesn't really matter as soon as make sure I don't get out of track, because the hard compounds are very slippery. Sorry, forget it. And also the Jag, not only the Jag, but all the cars are like that. Once you are on a better compound like soft or medium, once you move to the hard compounds, it seems that you're driving a completely different car because it's very sliding. So hopefully we did manage to keep P1, and that's it. So it was quite a good race despite the mistakes, leading from start to finish for my second ever FIA manufacturer win. Not too bad to be honest. I think if I was in a different lobby, much more higher lobby, it would have been much more difficult for me by doing all these mistakes. But don't get me wrong, there is no disrespect towards the other racers who are in this race with me, but things are the way they are. So yeah, a win is a win. I should take it, this one, and did improve my points. Also still sitting in 23rd in the Jag standing, and hope I will be able to improve in the next race. So that's it for today. I would really appreciate your opinion on this race I had, even if you have to destroy me on it. I don't mind. Everything can be useful to improve myself on the racing and also on creating the content. So I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, you are most welcome to hit the like button, subscribe if you have not done it yet, and if you want more, don't forget the bell. Until next time, people, stay safe. It was your host, Bertmon 23. Cheers.